Hi there, this is the first of 3 videos on our population genetics chunk of the standard. So we're moving from looking at the inheritance of traits from one set of parents, like we've been doing with our Punnett squares. So parents, genotypes, they can pass on certain alleles, and we end up with the possibility for the offspring just from those 2 particular individuals, to looking at population genetics. So that's a whole big group of individuals and how traits are passed on and what influences the passing on of those traits and therefore the alleles. So you might have a big population of different individuals carrying different alleles with them, and then the next generation will have a slightly different set of alleles, and then the next one and the next one. The numbers of individuals in the population can change due to different reasons, and also the proportion of different kinds of alleles might change from generation to generation. And this is evolution. It's happening all the time, but because it happens over a long time, we don't usually see it in real time, but it is happening. One key point though is it doesn't happen to individuals, it happens to populations over time. So for example, I'm going to imagine that these are animals, okay, and they're living in a cold place, and some of them are quite furry, lots of warm covering on them, and some of them, we're going to say, are not very furry, and it's just by chance they're just born not furry or furry, but the environment's cold. And so what happens is, it's not like this individual can suddenly wish to, oh, I'm just going to grow a fur coat. It just happens to not have a fur coat, and it can't change what it's got. It's born like that. What happens is this individual will probably die of the cold and won't go on to produce any offspring. So the alleles that code for not having much fur will die out, whereas the individuals with lots of nice warm fur will survive and go on and have offspring. And so the alleles that make furriness will continue in the population. So it's not about individuals changing, it's about what happens to whether they can pass on their alleles or not. Okay, so this video we're going to talk about gene pools, populations, allele frequencies, and gene flow. And then I'll do 2 other videos on the other parts of the standard. So for gene pools, we're looking at a whole population. So that's a group of individuals of the same species that are living together in the same area. And I have made one. I'm calling them the boxes. So this is population A. Okay, and what I've done is I've made the alleles these different colours and then put 2 alleles together to make these are the individuals in the population. So that is the gene pool we have. The gene pool is the total alleles in the population. And so we have 9 yellow alleles, we have 11 orange alleles, and we have 6 red alleles, and we have no green alleles in this particular population. To work out the allele frequency, all you do is you count up the number of those different alleles and then divide it by the total in the population. And I've added them up. There's 26 in total. And so you can work out that if there's 9 yellow alleles, you just do 9 out of 26, which is the total, and that can be converted to a percentage, which is 35% of the population have the yellow allele, and 42% have the orange allele, and 23% have red. So you just actually count up the numbers and then divide it by the total, and that gives you the relative frequency of that allele in a population. And then population genetics will look at the changes to that over time and what things might change it. Here's another example. This is population B that we're going to compare it with. I'll just swap sides. And so in population B, we have got a slightly different numbers in the population, and we've got a slightly different proportion of the different alleles. So in this population, there's 22 alleles in total, and we have 6 or 27% are yellow this time, and we have a whole lot more red. So we've got double the amount of red compared with our other population, 54%, and we've got a new allele. So it might have been a mutation or something's come in from another population, and we've now got a green allele in here as well. And so that will change the allele frequencies in that population. So So that's how you work out allele frequencies. And then gene flow is basically literally flow from one population to another. So if I try to zoom out, so you can see both. So what can happen is individuals and populations can move from one population to another if they're living nearby. That it could be, I won't go into the reasons right now. Anyway, so it might